Okay, people, you can see better than me. November 30th of 2022. Just the same old rigmarole. See all these beautiful jars? We're going to fill them up. Now, I got 6 more of these, but they're still in the case and I haven't washed them. I washed these ones, so these ones we're going to fill up today. And I've got 3 empty of these. Look at that one. That was from back in the day. Long time ago. I've got a few of those kicking around. I'm going to put the chickpeas in here because that's the base of almost everything that I'm going to end up doing over the next who knows how long, basically for Amari and whatnot, right? And then of course you can see what's going on there, right? So hold on a minute. Okay, people, I don't know about my eyes. For the last 4 days, using this second eye drop, all I wanted to do out of 4 days was sleep for 3. Yesterday I had a bit more energy. I mean, I'm okay today, but I don't know if it's because I can't see very well, and you know when you get frustrated, right? And you just kind of want to shut down. Like, you know, if you get real depressed, or you're really frustrated, or you're overwhelmed, or whatever it is, you just want to, right? Anyway, that's not what I'm doing. But it's just life has slowed down. Oh man, I'm dealing with these berries, man. I'm going into these boxes, opening up now, and my nose is running. See, it's those histamines, right? Turning off that light. I think my eyes got a little more worse. I do. I don't think these second drops are helping, and they're making me, I would think, tired. And I'm kind of feeling a little dizzy with it today, but besides that point. Okay, so first of all, I am so happy that I bought that American Harvest, you know, those round ones, dehydrator when I did, and then ordered extra trays. Yeah, I ordered extra trays too, I think. Because I can stack up to 12, right? And I do think I do actually have another American Harvest somewhere else kicking around the house. I'm just not sure where. It's probably downstairs, wherever. Okay. Because I know I had 2 of them. Unless that one broke. Either or. I just know that when I did buy it, at first I wasn't too happy with it, but then I just used it, and I've been working this thing like a workhorse, people. You don't know. It's been going on and on, and I stack these trays, right? I stack them up, and I'm working it like a workhorse right now, and I'm so glad I bought them I'm so glad I bought that dehydrator when I did, because I wouldn't be able to do this. So if you're going to do anything in bulk, get yourself a dehydrator that you can stack. Now, these are these golden berries. Twit. I just put one in my mouth. Now, mind you, it was a big one. And you can tell it was chewy. It was a burst of flavor. I'm telling you. Now, it just came out of the dehydrator. It's been in the dehydrator for quite a few days. Now, I didn't smash them when I put them on the dehydrator like I did with the raisins. Because that's supposed to open them up a little bit so the moisture on the inside can escape. So it's easier to dry these kind of things into a more crispy state. Right? Now, I need to get on with it because I got everything that I've ordered, and, you know, I got the mulberries here, which we're going to talk about in a minute. I'm sure the cranberries are around here somewhere. I still have that other, what is it, 16-pound bag of golden berries. I'm happy with them. I'm okay with them because they're really, really, really full of flavor. And for what they are, considering all things said, they're quite high in calories. And they're grown in the United States, okay? So when you take them out of the dehydrator, they're still kind of warm, right? You can hear much different than when I first put them in, right? But you need to let them dry. like air dry to become ambient temperature. So you have to move them around, right? Because they're still kind of warm before you put them in jars. And even then, you know, I'll look for the bigger ones like this, right? Well, see, oh, that was 2 together. So hold on. I gotta put this over here. Let this cool. Where can I put this? Right here. Watch my canning lid there. I don't want my gauge to get broken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let those sweet sour. I'm going to let those really just cool right down. Go through them quickly. Take out the larger ones. And probably... That's a gallon size. That's a gallon size jar, right? Now I do have those little decadent things to help absorb moisture. I may or may not use it because I might end up coming back when I'm not so pressed to be needing this dehydrator. And I might just open up the jar and throw them back into the dehydrator in a couple of weeks from now after I'm a little more caught up with other things. Go through them, right? If something's moist, you'll find it more than likely, not always. Anyway, and just dehydrate them again for a couple more days. Let them cool, see what they're like. And because as they air dry, they're going to get a little more crispy. It's what's on the inside. But these are berries with a high sugar count, so, you know, I think it would be okay, even if I didn't dehydrate them again. But that's an option, right? Because I don't have time to let these berries sit there and dehydrate for another 2-3 more days while I've got all these other berries that I got to deal with. To which, I guess that's 13 pounds. Because I got 2 of them. I guess that's 13 pounds of mulberries. So we've got the golden berries, we've got the mulberries, which is completely different. These ones are a little more crisper, but just based on what I've done with the blueberries, and the more crispier you can dry them, I'm telling you, really, they'll stay fresh for a long, long time in a sealed container. Now these are completely different. I mean, I'm not familiar with this, but anyway, kind of looks like a, well, from what I can see, kind of looks like a little peanut or something. And I don't know. They're chewy, and they have more of a spice taste. I don't know if you know anything about mulberries, but they kind of taste like an allspice that's been sweetened. Really. Maybe it's where they stored them, I don't know. So anyway, and they're, I don't know, kind of chalky. I don't mean like chalky, but they're, I don't know. They're different. But they're too chewy. They're too moist to put away for long-term storage. Because I'm not going to be cooking this all up in a month, right? So some of it has to go into long-term. Especially after the new year, in 3 or 4 months from now. If I want to do another big shop, which I probably will. But that's not for another 3 or 4 months. Maybe March or April or something like that. I want to get these boxes out in the mail. You know, I want to clear out of this kitchen. And I want to get on with making whatever it is that I want to make. So, we're going to start with the first bag. And we're going to throw these in the dehydrator even though they feel like they're dry. But they're chewy, so it's not. It's just, I just think it's better if we try and harden them up a little bit. But they're like, I don't know, they're a weird kind of berry. They don't strike me as a berry. It doesn't strike me as a berry. Right? But that's okay. We know where most of it's going. Right? I don't know what the calorie count is on it. I don't know what the mineral count is on it. I don't know none of that stuff. I just know that I'm trying to do something that's has variety, with that chickpea being the base for that variety. So, yes, if you're going to do anything like this in bulk, to which I highly recommend that you do, okay, find a way, okay? If you have a family, whether they're living with you or whether they, like, your older children with their children and, they come by with the grandkids, whatever it is, right? If you can do it, definitely do it. Because, I don't know. Might keep your family fed for quite a few years. Right? Depending on what you do with it and how you use it. So these, I don't know, I don't even know how these could be classified as a berry. They don't seem like a berry. I don't know. I'd have to look it up online to see what they are. Well, as if I can see anything. To see what they look like fresh. I don't know. It's getting hard to see, people. I don't know. This is not good. Nope. I think these were stored. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe this just smells like this. But maybe these were stored close by to something that was spicy. Because they smell spicy. A little bit. Not a lot. They're mild tasting. They're more mild than the golden berry. So hold on. Let me get these ones anyway. Hold on. Okay, so we're going to try something different here. I don't even know if this will work. All I know is when I put that corn in there, when I was doing that corn back in the day, and, spin it up for Amari, this thing was like 30 seconds, and boy, oh boy, it just did amazing in terms of making a puree of cooked, but that was cooked corn, right? So I'm going to try this with this blade. You can see what the blade is. With these berries, because, to me, I'm just going to be doing by weight, people. I don't need the berry in its whole state. Those are mixer things from another blender that I brought up because I'm trying to put together a full functioning blender for Rhea, right? Because she wants with the bread beater. So I'm hoping the bread beaters that I have here will fit. So, I don't know. I guess we just try it. I don't know. Because if this chops these up pretty good without getting really gumpy, then I'll just take that pulp and put it in the dehydrator, and it will dry. It will dry faster, and then you'll get more in your jar, right? Because now you're getting more into a powder, right? And then when I want to go by weight, I just go by weight, right? It's just, oh, I don't want to feel cheated in life, people, like, it happened so fast, out of the blue, suddenly, that, in terms of my eyes, that, I don't know, I don't get it. It's not like I didn't try to go get referrals and all that shit, right? Oh, Just feel so cheated in life right now. But whatever. Okay, so I think this is all okay. Technically, you're supposed to unplug things before you stick your hand in there. Well, it's chopping it up. That's kind of what you want. Yeah, that would probably work. Right? Because, you know, I'm at the end of things now in terms of there's, you know, sure, if I go to Walmart, I'll buy some extra cans of salmon. I know what to buy now in terms of get the ones for $5 for the same amount almost versus paying $8 or $10 for almost the same amount because it's a different size can. You know, I'll still do little things like that every now and then when I get out and about, which isn't really very often. But when it comes to ordering anything, I'm not going to be ordering too much for a while now. Right? I'm just going to organize things, and I was going to say pray that I don't go completely blind here. I don't know. My son says, well, how's it going? I said, well, it's getting harder to see. He goes, oh, that would be to be expected. Like, you know, just brave the storm, Mom. You know? Yeah, okay, son. Gee, son. So I think this is what I'm going to do with these ones because they're not gooey per se, but they are moist. And I don't want that. I want them drier. So I'm going to chop them up, dry them up, and then see what we get. So hold on. Yeah, I like that a lot better. Oh, better unplug it. I like that a lot better. It's almost, look at that. Right? If I was, like, this machine is amazing. I bought this in the thrift store. I still like it. I like that. So this is a nifty little machine. It like works really fast. Anyway, I put, I don't know, 4 or 5 trays of it, you know, grounded up already in the dehydrator. And I'm just doing it this way because I have the sheets that are flat, but I don't know where they are right now. So hold on. Yeah, I think definitely this medication is affecting me. I don't like it, people. Now, somebody did mention, I can't pronounce the name right now, Miriam or something like that, I think. YouTuber, right? Subscribe to my channel. Or maybe it's a different subscriber. Anyway, she makes comment every now and then. I guess she's got glaucoma as well, or some sort of eye issues where they gave her laser surgery. And she said that hers lasted for over 7 years in terms of she never had to go back and get it done again, and she got no scarring. Well, when I was seeing that eye doctor that overdosed my eyes with that freezing agent, she wanted to do laser surgery almost from the get-go from when I first met her. Okay? And I don't exactly know what year that was, but besides that point. And she says good for about 2 years or so, and there's a possibility of scarring. And I'm like, well, you know, I'm working in the yard and stuff, people, you know, it's not like I can afford to get scarring in my eyes. And so I opted out. Okay, whatever, all right. So anyway, this new eye specialist, he's suggesting 2 other options if this doesn't work. Which, as soon as I put them in, these new ones, everything goes blurry for about a half an hour. Like, literally blurry. Okay, that's the first thing. So that's probably to be expected. I don't know. And then, of course, my eyes are dry. You know, it's drying me out, right? I can feel it. Right? I mean, I'm on my 4th day with this stuff. I put it in around 5:30 in the morning, around 5:30 at night. That's for me. So I know I'm kind of like awake and I don't miss my 12-hour drip drip, right? Because it's just stupid. Anyway, I didn't even do my other drops last night because I fell asleep earlier, and so I was told by the pharmacist through Tisha to put them in at night at bedtime, but I don't have a fixed bedtime. I just don't, right, people? So I'm going to do them like I've been doing them, which actually I should do it now, which is about almost 2 o'clock. I've been doing them around 1:30. Because, you know, like, I can't guarantee that, like, like, I went to sleep, I woke up, I did my eyes, and I went back to sleep. And then I woke up, and I'm doing this, and, like, it's just stupid shit. Like I don't have a fixed schedule. So anyway, he said either laser surgery, said the same thing, good for about 2 years, possibility of scar tissue. What that means exactly, I don't know. All I know is I've got 2% vision in one eye and 13% vision in the other eye, with my optic nerves practically all gone. So if I start getting scar tissue in there after a year and a half, 2 years, or 3 years, or I don't think I'm going to be one of those lucky ones, people, and get away with it for 7 years, that's for sure. I just don't. Okay? It came up too fast. It happened way too fast. It's too damaging, too permanent with a bad outlook, okay? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what surgery, because then he says, well, if not that, then there's surgery. I don't know exactly what he plans on doing with two fiber octave nerves and 13 on this side and 2 on that side. I mean, what could he possibly do? Right? So, but I do think these drops are making me, one, lethargic, for sure. And I am feeling kind of dizzy. It took 4 days for it to catch up to me. You know, I'm kind of woozy, right? You know, and I'm sleepy. It's making me tired. I don't think it's all depression, because I've been dealing with this since, April, in terms of the cloudiness and stuff. And, you know, if anything, like, anyway. Just do until I can't do no more. Okay, so this is this date sugar. It's a product of the United States of America. I need some scissors. Of course, I can't find those scissors. Hold on, let me turn this off while I find some scissors. I'm moving like a freaking snail here. Yeah, you really slow down, but yeah, I'm feeling the dizziness more so than I felt before. So I don't know, maybe it will go away after a while. I get used to it. I don't know. We'll see. But I have to give this a fair chance before I make the next move. So anyway, this is a product of the USA. Organic date sugar with nothing but dates. That's it. That's all that's in it. How they got it all ground up like this and made it look like this, I don't know. In terms of this color, because it doesn't, sure in the heck doesn't look like mine. We're going to taste it. I see what they mean by clumping, but it's so fine that it's easy to break up, okay? For what it's worth and for what I'm going to use it for, people, you know, this would be good. Look, it doesn't really, it's not even that strong. Because it's fluffy. It's fluffy. This is 5 pounds. $57. right? It's too much money for what I'm going to be using it for, in bulk, that is. It's not cut with anything. It's supposed to be just straight up dates, but because they made it fluffy, no, I don't know. It would be good, like, if you wanted to make an icing sugar with it. Use icing sugar and put that in there for flavoring. Or if you made donuts or something, or something, and you wanted to sprinkle it on top where it's not going to fall off and go to waste. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to use it for the amount of money that I paid for it. I think I would prefer to use it for something else. Now, it's still up for debate, but for what it's worth, $57, I don't know. Notice the color of it. Now, I'll show you mine. Looks completely different. And it's not even ground up very good, but I'm going to see if maybe it can grind up in here. Now, that one clumped a little bit, yeah. I suppose over more time it will clump up even more, but because it's been fluffed up through the grinding process, I think it would be easy to break up the clumps. For this one, I got tired of dehydrating, so I just put it in the jar, and I, have been, but look what's happening. You see? So this one is going to clump up more so. This is what I thought that would do, but I don't know. But that should be still easy enough to go, yeah, you see, it still breaks up pretty good. Right? But definitely different product, that's for sure. So what I'm going to try, just for the fun of it, let's see, it didn't take much to start doing that, right? Okay. I mean, you can choose for yourself which one you want if you wanted to do something like this. I would say start with this. Now, I'm just for the fun of it, I'm going to see if this little thing has the power to grind this up even more so than what it already is. Right? Let's see what we get. Just for fun. Because for me, the more I can compact things to a certain degree, the better it is, because I'm maxed out now for space and stuff, right? Like, I don't... Yeah, this stuff is making me dizzy, people. I can fucking feel it. It's like all up in here. Oh, I don't like it. I'm not sick. I'm not sick, people. This stuff is making me want to sleep. And it's making me dizzy. Tisha told me when she came home, pharmacist said it could make me dizzy. I think there was something else she said, but I can't remember what it is. Maybe sleepy. Let's see. Yeah. All this sugar and berries. It's slightly changed its color. It's gotten a little lighter. It's much more grainier. I like this. Oh, I'm so glad I brought out this machine, people. You don't know. This is nice. I like this. I'm just going to just do it one more time, and then I'm going to empty it into another jar. And over the next little while, like, I'm going to do this whole jar, right? And then over the next little while, as I put it in another jar, well, I kind of just keep it in this jar. I just put this in a bowl. Those ones are clean. I don't want to have to re-clean. Because when you take a fork to it, even if it's compacted, it breaks up pretty good. You can hear that, right? So hold on a minute. Let's see what we get. I like this idea. So hold on. Okay, completely looks different. You can see. This one's, I don't know, whitey creamy. I don't know how creamy or how white, but definitely different. Okay. This one's more grainy, but this is what will work good for me in terms of I just get the approximate weight in terms of what I think I want and weigh it out. And so if it's 20 grams, you know, you just scoop in, get your 20 grams, weigh it, and in terms of making a recipe, right? And it blended up really well in this. So what's going to happen now is I'm pretty much going to take this, put it back in the jar, and keep moving it back and forth over the next little while, right? To let it, whoa, sure, break the jar. To let it dry. Yeah, air dry more, right? Within the jar, because it will do that. That's why you move it around. And then maybe in a week or 2 or 3 or whatever it is, maybe I'll do this again. Maybe. If it's even necessary. You know, because it's just getting cooked up when I make Amari's drinks. And it's gonna work out really good. So you want a bigger jar where it can breathe, right? When you do this, okay? And then after it's all said and done, and I'm satisfied, notice, right? Because dust and everything, you know, from these berries and this now, and plus I am feeling woozy, people. Like, this is not good. But, you know, I can only lay down on the couch so much and rest, right? Just sleep only so much, you know what I'm saying? You can't use sleep as an excuse to escape, right? You can't, you know, right? People use sleep as an excuse to escape from their problems, or whatever their problems are. You know, lots of people do that. That leads into depression, right? I'm not depressed per se, but I am definitely feeling dizzy. This is different. This is. Oh, I don't know if that's normal and I'm supposed to be expecting to feel like this, or if I'm supposed to stop taking this stuff because I'm getting a side effect. But then I was already warned I feel like this, so, you know, but I don't know. It looks like, you know, I might have to go into some kind of surgery here, and even then, there's no guarantees. Now, I like this idea too, because I'm getting more in the jar by doing it this way, after the fact, okay? Because I will do this again, right? Especially if I'm finding dates at, I don't care if it's a great value or no name or whatever, the calorie count is still 140 for whatever grams it was, I can't remember, which is, you know, good, and it's a natural food source, and they're really high in minerals. And, yeah, definitely do this again, you know, while you can. And if you find those dates on sale, pick them up. So I'm just going to leave this like this. I'm going to probably do this again, like with this batch, in about a week or 2 from now, after I let it sit in a jar for of course I can't see where the lid is, right? Because it's blending in with everything. There we go. Not much of a difference in terms of, it was a little higher, a little, and then just do that off and on for a week or two. Because it will just dry better, right? It will just keep continuing to dry. Now that was just in there, so technically you should let it completely cool. So I'm just going to leave this open for a bit. And then close it. And it breaks up really nice with a fork. So even if it's sticking, it's still coming apart really easy. And if you find that you're not satisfied with that, you know, you could mix in a little bit of that coconut sugar. Which we've got now in the boxes. I'm opening up the boxes and I'm going through the boxes and trying to decide what I'm going to do here. So I've got most of those mulberries. I got some of them grounded up in the trays, some of them whole. I'll let this sit there for a day or two. I have 2 trays over there. I could throw that date sugar onto those trays and continue to dry, but I think I'm just going to continue to do it with the jar instead because I've got other things. This is the little leftover of the mulberries from the first bag, and then I've got another bag, right? So I'm glad I did that, honestly. Yeah. And looking forward to cooking with those. So let's get into another box and see what else we can find. Hold on. Okay, so you know what? Considering what's going on with me, I am so glad, people. That's not even including touching base on the inflation and all that crap that we're facing today compared to 2, 3, 4 years ago, okay? Because I've been doing this for quite a few years now, okay? And like, I keep telling myself, you're coming to the end, you're coming to the end. And I am. I'm coming to the end. I think I've done really, really good. And I'm so glad, though, people, that I did it when I can actually see it. Because now, I mean, yeah, it's all hazy and smoky and cloudy and, you know, white on white with clear glass. I can't distinguish the glass because it all blends in together, right? My eyes react to light, right? Like, you know, like and sometimes I like it brighter, sometimes I like it darker. I find just regular good old school light bulbs are the best for my eyes. This LED stuff is not good for eyes. It's already been kind of stated through studies that it's not good for eyes. But besides that point, right? So, you know, I hung up my Tiffany lamp up here. Can you see? Right? So if I want to turn off this light because it's bugging me, right? Or if I open up the curtains now and the sun's coming in and it's it's a different light. And, oh my God. So anyway, you know, I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm just so glad that I did this when I did it. Yeah. You know, I'm very sad for the foundation though, because, you know, I highly doubt people. I highly doubt any man at this point is going to step up to the plate and help me with the foundation. On an international level, right? I just don't see it happening. I mean, it would be a miracle, and I don't expect that kind of a miracle. And I just don't. And you know, with the way the world is going with the pressure just to have a level of living where it becomes kind of, you know, if you don't have stability in your house and you know, structure and right and just, you know, I mean, like, you've got no foundation to build anything on, people. You know, that's why poverty is such a sad situation on a grander scale. I mean, it's enough it's from house into house into house. But when you get into whole neighborhoods, you know, it's like, that's rough. Okay, so, you know, I figure, like this amaranth, for example, it was expensive now. Well, first let me tell you this. I have a bag of lids.
If the money's gone, they lose. That's it, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I think you're right about that. I think we are seeing major.
And do you think I can find them? I had them like 2 days ago, right? And they're just like, I've got bags. I got like new lids somewhere else, which I had to go get. And I got you know, when I buy my jars, like these size jars, they come with new lids. This is 1.9 liter, right? They come with new lids. So here are the new lids, which I have a whole bunch already in a bag, and that I moved about 2 days ago, telling myself, oh, you won't forget where you're going to put them because you're using them. Just keep them close by. But I wanted to move them from where I had them because I'm, you know, whatever. I'm getting fed up with this, right? I'm getting fed up with this, okay? You know? And do you think I can find them? No. So I had to go get, I mean, I can use these now. I do plan on vacuum sealing these jars. I've got 6 more 1.6 liter, but I'm not sure what I'm going to put in them yet. But I bought these other lids at the dollar store. I think they were like $2.25 a pack or something like that. That's better than $5 a pack. It's called a snap lid or something like that. It's pretty. It's just, you know. It's. I noticed that the rain, like I bought them for in case of an emergency, and you know there was a shortage on canning jars and canning lids and those kind of things. I don't ever have to worry about jars. Trust me. Lids though is another thing. So I picked up a whole bunch of these anyway. Because I can't find my other bag with my other miscellaneous stray lids around. And I don't want to use new, per se, lids that I can use for canning meat with, or vegetables, or whatever. So keep, you know, if you're canning, if you're doing any kind of dry canning, this is what you can, well, this isn't really considered dry canning. I think dry canning is when they put things in the oven and try and seal the jar that way. That's not what I'm trying to do here, okay? There's no bugs in this food. And even if it was, it'd be locked in the jar, and it would just become a big party that would end up in the compost, okay? So I'm not too worried about that, right? And you don't need to, you just vacuum seal these jars, because this is all dry goods. This is the amaranth, right? Same thing with chickpeas, whole oats, quinto, chia seeds, just whatever, any kind of bean. Those things, you can just vacuum seal them, okay? If you really wanted to, you could use oxygen absorbers with them, and like with the bigger jar, these ones here,
one thing about that is
I would do that, right? So I have boxes downstairs that have things that can, so at some point I do plan on doing oxygen absorbers when I'm like, you know, down there and going and just, right now things are just kind of going down, and you know, I'm not going to open and close an oxygen absorber bag, because every time you open it, it just ruins it, right? So it's just easier for me to open up the boxes, unscrew the lids, go from jar to jar to jar real fast, seal everything up, put them back in the box, and put them away. So I probably got about, probably about eight jars, 9 jars, maybe 12 jars, I don't know. I'd have to go down there and double check everything, right? And here's another one, right? So, this is, yeah, see? So, you know, you can go off to the dollar store places like that, and if you find stuff like this, scoop up on them, okay? Because you might want to, you know, do stuff like this if you're not doing it already. And it's like you kind of have to buy them when you find them, because they don't always have them, right? And this is why I'm telling you, because I don't know, people, I think about the foundation and I'm like, you know, this is all I ever wanted to do on a grander scale. You know, my idea of a good foundation was having our own dehydrating plant, freeze dry, whatever, and doing it like in
So,
manufacturing
I
it
don't know
into
if
big
they're gonna
barrels, you know,
be able to do
the
that,
big
like get that across.
50-gallon barrels,
Outlandish, like
and
but
barrel
maybe
after
with,
barrel
I
after
remember when Obama
barrel
handed over,
with some of
what
that
ICANN
food
to the United
going
Nations or
to,
something. Maybe they can
I
shut
guess you
everything
can
else down,
say
I don't know,
developing
but
countries where the need
yeah,
is
maybe
great,
Cyber
right?
Polygon is
Or
like
maybe
the
to refugee
next
camps and
thing
those
to
kind of
get people
places that
about
would
pandemic.
benefit from
Well,
that.
that brings me to Twitter. I want to ask your
And then,
opinion
of
on
course, you know,
Elon Musk, what
schools
he's
that with
doing,
the school meal programs,
seen
and
on
you
Twitter.
just
Number
shift the
one, do
whole
you think he's
barrel,
going to
right?
honor his promise to
Or
general
if you were to get
amnesty,
into like more of
which technically he should bring back Alex Jones too. Then, if I'm waiting to see if that's going to happen.
see,
don't hold your
this is the
breath, right?
problem with
But
these lids. What's
if he
going on here?
does, then
Oh,
Apple's
it's
saying,
because I already got a rim on it.
Twitter from
Duh.
Apple phones, and then he wants to
Can't see, right?
their own hardware. That's a great way to destroy Apple. Also, is by having everybody
Like
say,
if you
well,
were to be
my
helping
iPhone's useless if
families,
I
for
can't do Twitter on
example,
it. I'm gonna go buy the
you know, I do
Elon
believe
Musk
there's going to
Tesla
come a
phone. I
time
mean, what are
when
your thoughts on all this?
it's going to
Yeah,
be
this
more
is
in
the danger here.
bulk
It's
food like
a
this
double-edged
than
sword because we're all in sort
what
of
we're used
enjoying
to.
this drama
Not
as
that
it
I've been
plays
to a food
out,
bank for years and years,
making everybody
because I
mad.
haven't been.
We also have to
But
be guarded
I
and
know
concerned
basically
about, well,
what
is
you
he
get
gonna try
when
to
you do
create
go,
the
because I've
next
been there,
app, which
right?
replaces
And,
everything
you know,
else
I'm
that
always
sounds
keeping
like
up with what's
this
going on
model
in
on these,
the
Chinese,
community, wherever that
singular
community is.
monopolistic systems.
And,
That's a danger.
you know, food banks
I
are
don't
running out
know
of
what the answer is
food,
to
and
that. I don't
there's
have
more
any
and more
insight
people
into
that
that
need
stuff.
it. And
Watching
that's
Elon
what I
stuff
mean by
as
going
an
into that
observer,
morning
so
stage when I
don't
say
really
I'm
have
letting
any
go of the
know
American
what's going on,
trademark,
and I'm
because,
just
you
kind
know,
of
I
a little
mean, like,
skeptical about it. I mean, I hope
my heart
he
was always
continues
in the
to
right
support
spot,
this.
people.
We've seen a couple things that
Right?
suggest that he is. Trump comes
So
back,
I'll show
but
you what I've got going
is that
here
really,
so
like you
far.
said, I mean,
I just
well,
wanted to, I
he's
like
just picking and
the
choosing
ball
popular
lids. These are
people,
good.
like Trump
So the more you
and
can
Twitter followers. Okay, but what about
with
the
the
people
brand
who,
name, or this, no, this
maybe a lot
ball
of
is good.
investigative journalists,
Or
a lot of
this
people
one
who
is
journalists, a lot of people who done good
Bernardian
work,
or something like that. This is,
they should
I
have
gotta
all
go
been
check on it.
doctors.
What's going
Oh,
on?
yeah, I forgot about all the doctors that were booted for being
What are you
correct,
doing?
being
Right.
punished for being right.
Yeah, and
What is
investigative journalists, and of course anybody saying there are only two genders and what have you. Essentially, the entire Twitter censorship team was a bunch of kind of left-wing radicals just censoring all conservative voices. Nothing different than that. That was their job: censor conservatives.
Yeah, well, so I think we'll see, how sincere he is based on what he actually accomplishes. And, again, Elon has a history of kind of saying a lot of things.
True.
So, but what about, what's he actually doing? So, we'll wait and see what he does, right?
I hope it doesn't say we'll have general amnesty on Twitter when the Tesla Cybertruck.
I respond to him as soon as I hear different sounds. That's just, he's a Houdini baby, right? We know that, you know what I'm saying? So, you gotta have that heart of steel, no matter what, right? Because you just never know. Like, I was thinking about that actually today, and I'm like, it's been going pretty smooth right now. He only had that one seizure, and, and he only had that one time where, I guess, I don't know, he threw up, and so I called ambulance twice, right? First time was when he threw up, and he was like whatever, and I'm like, well, I panic, right? Because you panic, right? Your heart just ping, and that was fine, and he was home that day, and everything was fine, and then that day he had that seizure. That was like so freaky, man. And then all that drama with the freaking paramedic and social workers and just whatever, and I'm like, oh, it's been quiet, it's like, why can't it stay like this for the rest of his life? Not to mention the caregivers, because you just don't know, right? You just like, and I'm like, Judy, just calm down, relax, take it one day at a time, don't worry, right? So when I hear stuff like that, yeah, I'm like, right, it doesn't matter. Because, you get, I don't know. So yeah, when you buy a new box of jars, they come with lids. Try and use those ones for the actual canning of goods. And if you're going to do stuff like this, now if I didn't have these, right, I would use these. I wouldn't, if I'm going to vacuum seal, I'm not going to use old jars or old lids. I won't. The only time I
Then they
no,
flip on a dime
the only time I
and
use old lids is when I'm freezing things in the freezer. Obviously, that's safe, right? Doesn't matter what it is.
But
And then, if times got real tough and I didn't have a choice, of course I'd go in looking for my bags of my lids, and after I used each and every single new lid, if I had to, I would resort to canning with a used lid. But I'm not at that point yet. Hopefully I'll never get to that point. And so yeah, but for stuff like this, if you're gonna do the drying, you're gonna do the canning, you know, when you're cruising the dollar stores, look for these discounted, and sometimes you even get the brand name too, right? Like I've got these ones, brand name.
I mean, that's the model that Rockfin operates on, which is a blockchain model. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, and you have a channel on Rockfin.
With the regular
Tell us
mouth.
about your main website.
And I picked up a whole bunch of them. So, okay, so I think I'm good here.
There, it's really just a
Okay,
collection of
I'm going to show you in a second what I'm doing. Hold on. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm going through these golden berries, to which they actually get some of them quite big. That's dehydrated already. But those bigger ones, they're kind of suspect, you know, because inside they're probably still a little gummy, you know, which isn't going to hurt you, right? Just don't put an oxygen absorber in there, because that's what kind of introduces the botulism to live and multiply, because it likes no oxygen, right? I'm debating whether I should do one of those decadents at the bottom of the jar. The problem, I have them, people. I bought them, but you know, every now and then I'll come across a product that has that stuff in it, and I don't know. It just seems to me like it ruins the product, right? And I don't want to eat it because decadent itself looks kind of fun. But mind you, I guess it depends on the product, right? And this would be at the very bottom of the jar, so I'm debating whether I should throw one in, because I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use one big jar, because I'm trying to avoid buying more jars. I just bought a whole bunch of canning jars, but they're for like canning, because I want to get them to my freezer. I said, you know, I got the turkey and whatever, right? I'm talking about these 1 gallon size. I'm trying to avoid buying another box, right? That's 4, you know, anywhere between $67 and $84. So, you know, it depends what you can find when you're, you know, whatever. Anyway. Oh, just hold on. Somebody's ringing the doorbell. Okay, I'm kind of confused here, because I don't use these things. I have them. I think I'm going to try and use them. I'm going to just put, mind you, I wanted to put this in the jar and, you know, just keep shaking it around for a little while. So I'm debating whether I should just put this in and put them in and put the lid on and forget about it, right? Because I won't be able to use an oxygen absorber with these golden berries, because they're still kind of moist, right? Now I took out the majority, not all of them, but the majority of the larger ones that could be a little more chewy because they're larger, right? And I've still got 1 full bag to go. So here's another jar, but I don't want to take them all out because, you know, they're big and probably sweeter than the smaller ones, right? So I'm like, okay, well, just try and maybe use this. So I don't know if this is going to fill up more than 1 jar. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to order some more jars. Not now, but I'm gonna have to, because I can see it already. Right? So, hold on a minute. Okay, so what I've decided to do, pay good money for this stuff, people. You know, doesn't matter where you buy it these days, seriously. You gotta really just, you know. I've decided that I'm gonna put 3 on top, 3, and I'm just gonna monitor it for the next week or 2. In other words, I'll take them out. Like, I'll open up the jar later and I'll look at them, because if they get oversaturated, they change color, right? So, and then you can put them in the oven and reuse them. So I thought that would be a good deal, right? You know, if I was to use them, but I don't really use them, right? So, but in this situation, this is where you'd want them, right? So in this, so that this is 1 full gallon jar of dry, what is it? The golden berries, right? And then we've got, it looks like 2 quart size, oops, that's not even right. 2 quart size jars. And another 16 pounds bag. So you pay all this good money, right? Like $100. Because I what did I pay? 200 and, what was it? $13 for something else coming in with that order? No, it's just the berries themselves were $213. And that was for 16 pounds. And they came in moist. Right? But they were too moist to store it that way for any length of time. But as I'm doing this, I'm like, okay, well, you realize that once you start doing this, you're probably going to go through this stuff pretty fast. So now I'm like calculating in my head, you know, I'm like, well, you need to figure out how much it's costing you per drink. As if, right? As if that's what I want to do. But, you know, at $215, $13 or whatever it was, for only 16 pounds of berries. I mean, how many batches of whatever it is that I'm trying to basically do here, you know, not to mention I might want to use them in something else. Like, these would probably be good in the sweetbread. Yeah. Right? I'll show you what I got for, what, $106.50. You see? I had those lids, and look at that. I already lost them. Because I can't see. Right? You think I can find them now? No. I had them right here in front of you. Didn't I? Where the heck did they go? Not gonna get mad. Here they are. I'll just use this one for now. Not gonna get mad. No. So for $113, I'm sorry, $106.50. I didn't get very much for my money, people. But now, mind you, they're a little dehydrated, so I got 2 of those. They're quart size. And 1 gallon. And with the other bag, I'll get another gallon and 2 more of these. And I'm like, okay, in my head, well, How long do you think it's going to take you to go through all that if you're going to be making these drinks? Now, mind you, I'm not going to be cooking with it each and every time I do this, but it's one thing buying and oops, I'm using these things, aren't I? It's one thing buying and doing this and then putting it away. I'm only putting one in for now, and I'll check it. I'm not vacuum sealing until I'm pretty much done and I know what I'm doing, and I'll check it. And if it looks like it absorbed all the moisture or whatever it does, I'll just change it with another one before I seal it, and I'll vacuum seal it. Right? That's how I'm going to approach this problem. Because I bought these and I kind of want to use them if I need them, and this is a situation where I'd need them. So I'm only putting one in there. One should be more than enough. Oops. What are you doing? I hear you. So where I'm at, so far, I gotta wash jars again. Right? Like I said, I'm glad I did this when I could see. I'm glad that I'm almost at the end of my time with this stuff. Right? I'll deal with it after the new year in terms of if I'm going through it fast, then I'll order. Right? And that's when you start calculating, because I mean, like, when you think about it, $106.50 is really not very much, right? But it's quality food. It's fruit, all right, and it's nutritional. So we got, like this Amari, it's $93. Like, come on. But it's quality food. It's nutritional. So we got 4 1.9 liters. We got a full gallon. I know I bought this before somewhere in the house downstairs. And then we've got this here, which I'm just, as I'm emptying out my bags, I'm throwing them into the bucket. So before, I've got to use up this stuff. So this goes in the bucket. These will go downstairs. I'll leave one out. Just this one for now. Well, these ones will go downstairs. And then, depending how much and how fast I use them, obviously I'm going to have to replenish, right? And then next time I buy, instead of $93, it will be $120. Like, this is ridiculous. And then we've got some of that. We've got that maple sugar. That's what we got so far. I still have the cranberries, the golden berries. Well, the golden berries, one bag almost full, is in the dehydrator. And then I got another 13 pounds to go. So we'll see what that gets us. This is the organic date sugar from the United States, to which, if you know those pastries, those light pastries, where you fold the dough and fold the dough and fold the dough and fold the dough, so you get layers of it. You could probably incorporate some of this into it as well. But for $57, I wouldn't cook with it per se for what I'm trying to do here. But it's interesting to maybe make a nice icing for a cake or something. Just as that little added flavor. I'm not too sure because it's fluffy, right? I didn't know what to expect. So anyway, we got that. I'm on a hunt now for dates to make my own. I'll show you in a second. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to end this video soon because I'm getting tired. Now, I've got like 50 pounds of these chickpeas, okay? I put those in there because that's the base, right? And then the other ones, I've got a 5-gallon bucket downstairs. I've been saving it. So I'm going to put whatever chickpeas is left, 25 pounds minus this, whatever's left, into that bucket. Okay? And I do have other chickpeas around the house. And I also got chickpeas up here, but I decided just to keep it simple for myself right now and keep these ones really kind of like up in my face now. I like to have my jars covered. There is a cover for this, but it isn't the right one. And the one that fits this, I don't know where it is because I made them back in the day, but besides that point, okay. And then as I go into my cupboards down there, you know, that's where the other chickpeas are, probably further to the back. And then I've got a whole bunch downstairs already, right, blah, okay. So we're good for chickpeas, right? And then we'll get twice as much with the golden berries. We know that. We know that this is just for fine pastry or icing sugar or whatever. That's the date sugar from the States. Whereas this is my date sugar, which when I'm cooking for Amari, or basically, yeah, right? Because that's why I'm doing this, right? More than anything. I don't know if anyone else will like it after I'm done making it, but we'll see. And that's just one use. It makes more sense for me to do it this way than this way because if you notice, these are some old dates. Now these dates have been in the jar here for, don't even ask me how many years. I can't tell you. All I know is they've been underneath this cupboard behind me forever. Because it's hard to get to things in this house and I get so busy, and when I'm doing shit like this, as if I'm going to start making date squares. Now, I'm looking for jars without having to pay for jars. This is an old jar. You can tell by the lid, right? Compared to what's being sold today. This is a new jar. This is an old jar. But the old jars are thicker and heavier. Much thicker and much heavier. You can hear it. All right. Now, this hasn't been open for a long time. Probably from the moment I closed it. As long as the moth didn't get inside, it will be fine. As long as it doesn't have any mold, you will be fine. Okay? Space-wise, if I dehydrate these like I did with this batch, it would fill up this jar and then give me probably a little more. And then that get an extra jar. That's what I'm trying to say here. Well done. And then, because I'm looking for jars and I'm looking for things that I can combine into this drink outside of what I've been buying. In other words, you know, I've got the rice in the house from whenever, and you'll see, okay? So in the meantime, I went off and I knew I had the dates in the back of my mind, and sure enough, they're there, right? So again, as long as there's no moth that got in there when I packed them up, everything should be fine. I'm going to wait until somebody with better eyesight can double check it for me, just to be sure, right? But from what I can tell, it doesn't look like there was a moth infestation in that. So I'm going to dehydrate them and grind them up, and I'll be using them with this, because if you make just the chickpea milk by itself, right, and you use the vanilla, a little bit of date, the chickpeas, I can't remember what else, but for sure a little bit of date. So that's the purpose of the date, right? And also the nutrients. Now, I can't see people. I think I can kind of see raisins in there. This got probably packed at the same time when I did the dates. This was obviously a time I was doing food prep. I don't know how many years ago. Don't ask me because I can't tell you because I don't remember. I just remembered I had dates down there. I didn't know I had raisins. To me, that looks like raisins. That looks like raisins, Thompson raisins, to which I'm sure they are fine. I doubt there's any mold on that because this jar hasn't been opened. It's just been sitting. And then here's another jar. It has something white in it. I don't know what it is. I can't tell. But again, look at the lids. Right? Look at this one. This one was when they... What is this? Something... King pickle. King pickle. Right? Much thicker jars. I like the older jars. You don't know how much I like these older jars. So anyway, at the time when I open up the dates, we'll open up this, and Andre can be there or whatever. Tomorrow I'm babysitting because people are going to Mo's funeral. So maybe tomorrow I'll have Rhea take a look at them for me. Or Tisha if she comes by, I'm not sure. And I'm not going to dehydrate these. I'll probably just put them away with the jars that I'm going to be using, right? Like, you know, whatever down in this cupboard. I'm thinking whatever, because I'm going to have several, right? Something. You can see they take up a lot of space. But for something that's been in a jar like this for God knows how long, and you open it up, oh boy, it's going to be so nice. You don't know, because it's not absorbing any plastic smells or tastes or anything, right? I'm curious to see what's in here. Hold on. Why I would put flour in something like this, I think this is what this is. Kind of smells like wheat. It smells like flour. I don't know what kind of flour because I can't see. Like, I don't know how white it is. I'm tasting it. It's gummy like flour. Tastes like flour. So I think that's flour. I don't know why I have flour in a jar like that, because I got containers down there that have flour. Unless it's specialty flour. Maybe it's a specialty flour. Could be. It's hard to say. Well, why don't we just check this out? Hold on. Okay. Oh yeah, smells like raisins. Yep. So you see, it's unnecessary technically, to dry the way I did with the last batch that I just did in terms of raisins until they're really, really crunchy. Because I know for a fact this thing has been sitting here forever. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know I had raisins in there. That's how long they've been there. I forgot about them. I have raisins in my other pantry. Sunripe raisins. And they're in their original package, to which they'll be fine too, more than likely. Where the problem is, if there should ever be a problem, is something started to grow mold. But because of the sugar content, it keeps it under control, right? And the environment just kind of goes dormant, eh? And as long as there's no mold, then you'll be fine. What I just ate was fine. Right? So, oh yeah, hold on a minute. Okay, so now you can see why I'm scrambling around looking for jars, right? Because I don't want to buy anymore. I don't want to, but I might have to. It's hard to say, right? So in the meantime, we got these organic cranberries, 5 pounds, and they're gooey too. So I don't know. I may or may not dehydrate them, because there's other things I need to dehydrate and do first before I do that. So that, something like that, you know, that jar with the flour that I just showed you, easy enough for me to put that somewhere else, that flour, because I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Maybe it's self-rising flour or something. There's no label. That's why it's important to put labels on things, people, okay? Because you forget. You think you're not going to, but you do. All right? So anyway, we've got these, which I may or may not dehydrate at some point, but there's no emergency on it, but definitely get it out of the plastic bag. Now, if I didn't have a choice, then I don't have a choice. But I do. So I prefer glass. And then this is that coconut, coconut sugar, coconut palm sugar. And you can see it's a fair amount. It will take up a gallon, 2 gallons. That will fill up 2 gallons of 2 gallons. And the thing about palm sugar, coconut palm sugar, oh my, where are you, where are you? Hey, what was that? What was that? Stupid cats. Yeah. Calm down. Or are you throwing things? Is that it? Maybe? Maybe you're throwing things. Oh, he throws things. He throws his toys around and stuff. But he's a little lefty. He doesn't do much with his right hand. Okay, so this is the same kind of sugar. It's been in this jar for a long time. But I've got more around in the other pantry, right? In smaller bags and different brands, and you know, those days I was buying like that. But they're all in bags, so I eventually want to get in there and recycle. Okay? So maybe even before I use this one, I'll just jar them up, put them away, and then eventually get into that pantry. But what I want to show you just how easy it is. Like, you think it's compact, right? You think, hey, if you don't know anything about this sugar, but if you notice, look how, right? Okay, it's not like a brown sugar, where if this was brown sugar, like I got jars here with brown sugar in them, and if they sit for any length of time, you'll be scraping, you know that. And the only way to soften that up is with an apple peel. Where with something like this, it doesn't really stick together. It will compact, but it's so loose. Look how loose it is now. Right? So that's why I say, you know, if you're having an issue with your date sugar that you made, let's just say, for example, you know, well, I guess it really depends on what you're using it for, right? You know, you don't have to go by ratio, right? But say you wanted to fluff this up a little bit, because this is the date sugar and it's already settling down. But with it in this state, I'm finding that it's not that bad. Now, mind you, it hasn't been sitting like for years, right? You know, sometimes things just sit, right? I just showed you, okay? Especially if you're trying to have a little bit of a backup plan here, and people are going to need this backup plan. So, you know, I mean, it's possible, but I don't know how it's going to respond in a year or two or whatever from now. So in a situation like that, I could take some of this, you know, maybe just that much. Do you see? That's not very much. And mix it in with that, because this will help to prevent it from really sticking. If you're concerned about putting it in the jar, letting it sit for a long period, of course everything settles, and then you can't get it out, because I can't. It's not like brown sugar. I can't say, oh, well, yeah, just put an apple peel and it'll soften everything up and be all good. I can't say that because I don't know, right? I just think that if it's bothersome, and you know, like, we won't know until we try it, right, people? So I'm really thinking of combining the two of them just to see what the texture is like, right? And it will be in its own jar. And obviously keep one just straight up dates like this, because that jar that I just pulled out, that's what I'm going to do with that jar. I'm going to empty out the jar because I need the jar. I need the jar for the berries. That's the berries, because I've got too many berries here now. Right? I still got 16 pounds of golden berries I have to dehydrate. That's another gallon. I've got another 13 pounds or whatever it is of those mulberries. That's another gallon. Right? You'll see. So those 2 gallons I just pulled out with the raisins. Well, the raisins I'll probably, but with the flour for sure. Right? That I can get rid of that stuff. I can put it in a different container or in a bag. I don't care. I use it, whatever. And then the dates I'm going to chop up, dehydrate, do the same thing. And then that will give me another jar for those mulberries, and then I don't have to buy. Because I don't want to buy, right? Because I'm looking, you know, I don't want to. I want to start using this stuff now. And this right here, I can see right now, is already 2 gallons. Right? Because I don't want it sitting in a plastic bag for any length of time. Because it's not something that I would use all the time either. Because you have to remember, yeah, there's high calories in the coconut palm sugar, but it's just almost equal to white sugar, which really doesn't have very many nutrients. So, you know, but it's good, and it's better than white sugar. So, it gets complicated after a while. So this is the end of this video. So that was, I don't know. I don't even want to calculate how much all that shit costed. Too much money, people. Well, $93 for the Amari. It was $83 for 25 pounds of Gabarzo beans. I bought 50 pounds. $57 for that date sugar. Right. What else did I get? The mulberries. Oh, I can't remember. Honestly, I can't remember, but they were up in the price. And then we had the golden berries was $213. And, you know, like, what is our government's doing? They're stressing us out so much, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, for the ones that aren't prepping, though, I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm making good choices, and I'm glad I did it all these years when I could actually see, you know, because now it's getting kind of really cumbersome, and it's, you know, it's not, you know, it's hard, and I'm moving slower, and I'm getting things done. You can see that, right? But I'm just moving slower, right? And, you know, I've been doing this for so long, I'm kind of tired of it all, and I just want to be done with it and get on with cooking, I suppose. And I have some pumpkins I have to cut. I don't want them to go to waste. They weren't cut for Halloween. And a couple of them, 2, 3, look like they're still okay. So I'm going to be cooking up pumpkin here and straining it and mashing it and getting it ready for the freezer for pumpkin pie. If I could get to my other little dehydrator, I'd probably dehydrate some and, you know, just save on freezer space, right? Which I might try and do. It's hard to say. Like, you know, I've already got those mulberries in there, and I've got 2 trays with plastic on them, like the straight, no holes, nothing, but they're not like big, right? Because I've got those ones somewhere else, can't find them right now. And I got, you know, a few potatoes from the yard, right? And before they really start sprouting too much, I was thinking of just boiling them, because, you know, there's all small, right? For the most part, eh? Just boil them, and then the peel will come off easy, and then shred them and dehydrate them, and just kind of, and just make like something for mashed potato, right? And then this way, you know, they're not growing roots in there. Yeah, I don't mind a few potatoes for the springtime, I suppose, but, you know, do I look like I got time to be cooking potatoes right now in terms of cooking potatoes? My son's been feeding me. Right? Not every night, but almost every night. I swung him $100. It's not very much, but I was telling his girlfriend, I says, you know, this situation with my eyes, you know, like I don't mean to be a burden. Like I don't know what's gonna happen, right? No. And I said, well, if it's any consolation, if I do go completely blind, at least you know there's like well over 15,000, if not more, of food in his house. She goes, what? I said, yeah. Right. And you know, you can clearly see how quickly it adds up. So if you're not preparing, you better start preparing now. I'm warning you now. Don't leave it for another year or two. No, don't expect your neighbors to feed you because they're not going to want to. Right? You know, the world is, you know, something else. So I guess the next video will be probably centered around this. We'll see. We'll see. I have to get into my sewing room, right? So, alright. Peace out. Okay, I'm going to finish this video on this because I haven't uploaded this onto the computer yet because I'm clearing out the computer. Okay, so you see this? This is potatoes from my garden that weren't rated. And if you notice the size, right? And they're wanting to, you know, they're already starting their little, you know, so before I let them root and just whatever, I'm boiling them. And then when they cool down, I take my favorite knife and I'm just going to scrape off the skin, shred them quickly, and I'm going to dehydrate them, and then I'm going to spin them around and make a potato, for mashed potato, right? And then they're dehydrated and nothing goes to waste, huh? Okay, I'm still uploading and converting. Well, I'm not having convert. I haven't uploaded this, what's on this camcorder, onto the computer. I'm transferring files. I'm freeing up the hard drive. Anyway, these potatoes. Now, I only have the heat on 8, and I just stirred them around, right? And they're slowly but surely cooking. This is what I'm trying to tell you here, okay? So, I think what I'm doing is I'm kind of making like a instant mashed potato because I'm not boiling them hard, you know, I don't want to crack their skins per se because I plan on peeling them off. They'll just come off in little strips. And I can let that dry and I can turn it into plant food, right? And then probably just shred quickly or something. You know, get it on the dehydrator. And because they'll be almost cooked, really, right? They're not quite ready yet, right? You don't want them 100% cooked. You want them between a half and just a little over. That's all, for the most part, okay? And then they'll dehydrate really well because you're replacing the blanching period. You're just doing it in a different kind of way, and you're creating maybe a different kind of product. So if you have a surplus of potatoes and you know you don't want to be wasteful, you might want to consider doing this for yourself, okay? Because this is just kind of like spur in the moment, because otherwise these things are going to root, you know. And yeah, I can throw them in the yard next year and blah, but whatever. Hold on. Okay, so I'm almost done clearing out my, you know, making some space on my computer, right? It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I've been up since 3:30, man. And I've got children coming by at 10. But I'll probably have more energy then than I would at 9 p.m. So, this will be the end of this video, and then we'll just go on to the next video, because I've only got one more file to convert over. But before I do that, I want to show you something here, okay? Now, I bought this, you can see. Okay, what this is a screen for a sieve, right? The difference between this screen, okay, and this screen is the screen on this one is a 304 grade, which is industrial in terms of metal. it's more used for metal because of the concentration of metals that they do put together to make that screen. Whereas this one is 316, which is a little more food safe, food grade, right? You have the food grade screen, and then you have the industrial screen, but the majority of sieves that you buy, I'm finding, are made with 304 grade, right? This is a 304 grade. This is a 316 grade. And because we know I'm going to be working with hot foods or warm, I'm not going to wait for everything to cool down before I strain it, people. I don't got time. Okay? And it's unnecessary. So you want to screen the chickpeas and whatever. So if you're going to be doing that fairly regularly, I'm like, okay, well, do I use plastic? Because I have to make sure I have the right strainers, right? So I was thinking to buy, but I already have one, so lucky me. So I'm going to try this. Now, I like this. What I don't like about it, though, people, is the 304 metal grade. That's why I want to try and make my own. And I don't know how to do it. I got the screen. That's the biggest I could find. We know it's food grade. Right? This is two I don't know what these cheesecake pans. Two separate sizes. You can see. Maybe, I'm thinking. I don't know. I'm in a dilemma. Sure, just poke your eye, right? That's all you need, metal in your eye. Well, how you doing, Judy? Well, I don't know. You're going to have to pull out some tweezers, doctor. I got a little piece of metal in my eye. I know I do. I can feel it. Oh, cheesies. Jeezies, cheesies. I'm so looking forward when I'm not doing this anymore. In terms of jars and shit, right? Yes, I'll be buying bulk, putting them into buckets, but everything will already be figured out and kind of set up, and I'll have my favorite foods, and I'll get it all figured out. I'm so glad I bought those spices when I did. I've got some beautiful spices. As I'm working with this food, I can smell it, and I'm like, oh, geez, I've got, oh, you don't know. Right? Just like I do everything else. I did a spice run. So I'm thinking this is the way to do it. Shall we try it? It's a long video, but whatever. What else are we going to do? Right? Now, that would be great if I could, I don't know. I just figure I'm going to go like this. Do you see? And then just push it in. And have that one on the inside hold the screen in place. That will probably work. And then this way, I know for sure that I'm dealing with a food grade screen. And if the liquid is a little more hotter, right, then I don't want to use plastic, right? If it's warm or, not boiling. I don't see myself pouring it out boiling, but definitely hot to strain it. Then, what do you call it? I'd want a screen. But if it's cool, then you can use plastic, and you're going to end up using different size holes too, right? So I'm going to just turn this off for a second, but do you see what I'm doing here? I'm thinking I need to clip this. I got 4 points, and then ease this in after the fact. So let's see if I can do that, and then we'll end this video. Hold on. Okay, I'm not satisfied with this because as I'm doing this, I'm going to try it, right? And okay, here's the deal. As I use this, because now you can see better than me, but you see these folds? You're going to get bits and pieces of food scraps in there. Even with that inside, it's just a breeding ground for germs. Seriously. Now, I could take it off and put it back in, and but I think what I'm going to have to do, I can't use this now. I'm going to use it like this. I'm going to try it out just for the sake of trying it out, right? But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to order another one, maybe 2, and make a wood frame for it. Make my own wood frame. I think that would be easier. And wood is a natural antibacterial. You know, you cut meat and whatever on wood, you wash it with a little soap and water and let it air dry. It's good. It disinfects itself. This won't be able to. It will sweat. So maybe I shouldn't even bother. But I could see how it strains. I could try it out just to see what kind, right? Because there's different hole sizes. It's just this stuff is hard to find. That's the problem. Hold on. Okay, now this would be good for flour grinding. Look how nice that is. I'm pretty impressed. It wasn't that hard either. Okay, so this is just, okay, simple. I suppose I should take those out and I can maybe fold those back in. Now, for liquid, you already can see it's going to be an issue. And, you know, we're not going to take chances with bacteria breeding. Okay? So my only other alternative, I would think, would be to make my own wood frame. Right? Which is just a simple square. And it shouldn't be that difficult. It really shouldn't. And it would be worth the time, because then you're getting that better metal for cooking when you're straining. And I don't want to be going through all this, people, to be giving Amari heavy metals unnecessary. Okay? I mean, sometimes you don't have a choice. Fine. Right? But if you're going to start doing something like this, either be prepared to buy these more often as they wear out, because the heat and the, you know, because the ongoing use of it, it's going to eat at the metal, which is going to bring out the more heavier metals, right? Whereas this is a different kind of metal. It's combined differently, right? So yeah, so what was I going to do? See, here's a pocket. What am I looking at? You have to see, make sure that's in, so that, and there doesn't seem to be much, can you see? So I'll lift that up and try and just, but I think before I'd use this as a strainer for liquid, I think I'm going to use this for flour, for wheat and stuff. Because that little dinky thing that they gave me with that machine was just dinky. It was just kind of just too small, right? This is nice, right? That you can do something with. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to order 2 more of these, at least. I think it's like $21 a sheet, but it's worth the money, okay? And I'm going to make an effort to make some wood frames for them, because that would be the best, I think. As for the potatoes, I've turned off the heat. I've let it cool down. Now I'm going to pour them into this one. I'm going to run cold water over them, treat them like almost like a blanch, but I'm going to let them just kind of cool down for the next hour or 2, and then I'm take a knife and just scrape off the surface skin, which will come off really nice, right? And give them a quick shred, put them in the dehydrator. If I want, I can run them through that little machine, be done. And I've got instant mashed potatoes.